beaten and stuffed upside down in a garbage can where he died of asphyxia. And when it went to trial, the judge said, "Oh, boys will be boys," and let them all go. This wasn't in 1896, wasn't in 1950, it was in 1999, right? Candace Rough Surface was raped, beaten, and thrown off the dam where that lake, where that Oahe, right? And left to die. She asphyxiated in her own blood, right? The people that did that to her got 5 years for manslaughter. This isn't anything new. Okay, so that pipeline and environmental struggle is all tied in to the greater struggle that's been going on. And we have to, how we beat that thing is understand who we are and use ourselves as human beings to respond to it how you would respond to it as a human being, whatever that is. Like the healthcare thing today, right? Had all these people talking about profits and money and everything else, but they weren't looking at it as human beings, about how human beings are going to deal with their healthcare, right? That's the reality of it, right? I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about indigenous rights or African people. I mean, Tyron Lewis was shot just blocks from here in 1996. And people took positions based on, well, this police officer shot this black kid. But if you look at it as, instead of that, you look at it as one human being shot another human being because that human being didn't get his hands up fast enough, you have an entirely different perspective of it. And you find it more revolting and offensive. And you might do something to stop it. So we've got to look at things as human beings, and it's hard to do, and you've had all this other junk imprinted ahead of it. So that's what I'm going to ask you guys to do, is look at things as a human being and look at how these other human beings are being treated because they're standing up for their relatives, or they're standing up for the earth, or they're standing up for where their ancestors are buried, or they're standing up for whatever the thing is. Look at it like that. That's all I have.
Real quickly, I wanted to talk about, we have a lot of issues that we want to address, but as Florida Indigenous rights and environmental equality, we've decided to take on one particular issue first, and that is Tampa Bay divestment. As many of you may have seen in Seattle, Denver, Minneapolis, New York City's working on it as well. Municipalities have been approached by their citizens to take their money out of fossil fuel investments. So we, as a group, decided that we were going to target St. Petersburg first. We are kicking off our Tampa Bay divestment campaign at the end of this month, actually towards the end of the month, the 21st. Information will be made available and we'll make sure that it's shared. We hope this to be a community-wide coalition to work on the pension funds with St. Petersburg, and we want to get about $1 billion out of fossil fuel investments. So hit them where it hurts, and that really can make the statement for us. And then we plan on going to Tampa next. So do you guys have any questions, or? That's where we'll be going, and look for our kickoff campaign to be happening soon. Yeah. Tampa Bay divest.
Fiery.
Oh, wait. I just want to say one thing briefly. I know it's going to get dark pretty soon, but I'm just trying to help it get dark here. We're taking a little time. But for the moment here, I just want to say that we are all continuing the work of indigenous people. Earlier on, Pontiac was uniting people way back then and saying we're going to be in trouble. And then next was Tecumseh, who was a part of this particular tribal group in this area. He was Muskogean, and his mother was from Alabama area, the Tocobachi people. But we have had many allies from different parts of the country, and so today this is what we're continuing to do. And I applaud you for being here, and your outreach that you're doing individually is really making this the prophecy being fulfilled We are one. We're going to prove it. All right? Oh.
You know, we're so honored to have all of these groups here helping to, spread the news and let everybody know what they're all about. So we are waiting for it to get dark, and I am so honored to begin announcing our special guests that we have invited this evening, all the way from the Everglades. So they drove up today just to be here tonight. The first person I'm going to introduce you to is Jill, and Jill has done some excellent work around the country and been a part of several different camps. So Jill, please come here. And she also traveled by way of vehicle from Oregon as well, right? So she is part of the Northwest
Council of Water Protectors. Yes.
Awesome. So thank you for coming tonight, Jill.
So I saw the event invitation that it said that I'm the director or head of communications over at the United Indigenous Camp, and I'm stepping away from that just for a little bit. Hopefully I can return to that shortly. But right now, if you do want to get in touch about that, get in touch with the other two people that are going to speak after me. So my name is Jill Burrows, and as she said, I've been to a few camps, but not a whole bunch of them, honestly. I've only been to the United Indigenous Camp and Oteti Shakoi. But I have been a part of other things like Occupy and Disrupt J20 this last year over in Portland. I've also had the privilege to go and film a group of veterans who were delivering testimony to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers regional office in Portland, which includes everything down through Omaha. So that was really interesting, and we actually cooperated with the cops when we did that. Like DHS police came out, and we thought, oh no, they're going to escort us off the premises, but instead they wanted to know what we were doing there and how they could help us. And so they ended up getting on the communication line open with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers so that we could present that USB drive of testimony that we had. I'm not a veteran myself, which is why I say that I was privileged to be able to film that. All the different things that I've seen, there were several different negative things that I saw about Occupy, part of the direct actions from Oteti Shakoi, the recent riots in Portland and Paris on May Day. A lot of things end up turning out to be very, hateful, right? Full of hate. And hate is one of these emotions that tells you something about yourself, that you don't agree with what's going on. It tells you about your values, your principles, and all of all of that. And what you need to do when you get really angry is step back and figure out and use your human capability to figure out what it is that's making you angry and figure out how to actually articulate that. Occupy, there was another huge group of angry people that were just, standing around protesting, angered more people. People got angry at the protesters and created division. And you've seen that pattern play out in a whole bunch of other different events. So it's really important to build relationships, not division. So you need to be able to go out there, reach out to people as people, as fellow humans, build those relationships, and help them to see both sides so that they don't have to get angry at you and be just as pissed off about the situation as you might be. Let's see here, what else is there? In terms of organization, a lot of these things, they didn't have really experienced organizers. They had some people that had some knowledge about how to bring groups together and how to organize things, but they didn't have a strong backbone of people that were, elders, right? And one of the things that we have as Indigenous people is we do have elders to help lead us and help unite us and help bring us together and give us the overall picture of how we need to do things. So that's part of the thing that the United Indigenous Nations is working on, is providing a model of how to move forward and how to live indigenously and help everyone find their roots, their indigenous roots, and how to live in their own indigenous path. I think that's pretty much all that I had to say. I'm surprised I never looked at my notes. So, all right, well, I hope you all have a great evening, and I guess next is Art, or Drew. Okay, Drew is up next.
Yeah. So I'm actually honored to be hosting Jill right now. I mean, she's been in the Everglades sleeping on a cot for 2 months. So now she's gonna get to sleep in a queen-size bed with air conditioning. So that's awesome. I feel so honored. So I'm really, really excited to